The latest fury in Waterlooville is not just a protest, it's a warning and a symptom of deep institutional malaise. We have yet again placed 35 asylum seekers into the centre of a political storm, not because they are violent, not because they are criminal, but because the Home Office has failed to resolve a problem of its own making. The plan to house them in 25,000 flats while ordinary people, while thousands of Britons sit on waiting lists, is undeniably jarring. But the problem is not the people, the problem is the policy. We've created a system where we spend more than £8 million a day on housing migrants in squalid hotels, many of them owned by chains like Britannia hotels, whose rooms often fail basic health standards. These hotels are neither dignified for their residents nor defensible to the public. It's both a moral and a fiscal failure. Why are we pouring money, public money, into dirty corridors and damp ceilings when we could be investing in solutions? I know it doesn't fit the rhetoric of Reform UK to say that these hotels are squalid and awful and dirty and nasty, but that is quite often the reality. The reality is that they're not fit for ordinary people to rent or to pay money to stay in them, but they are fit for asylum seekers to be kept in limbo. This is nonsensical. And they are fit enough so that the Reform UK people can say, oh, these are 5-star hotels, oh, these are 4-star hotels. They're so lucky. They're so lucky. They're getting the stuff that we aren't allowed to get into. Rubbish. These are squalid dens. Squalid dens, and the hotel chains are making an absolute fortune out of the stupidity of the Home Office. The answer is not simply to lift the location from hotel to barracks, from barracks to blocks of flats. That's not policy. That's a bureaucratic hot potato. It's not governance, it's avoidance. We need to process these people swiftly, lawfully, humanely. Yes, there might have been a point right at the beginning when we were putting people into really good hotels. But increasingly, it's those hotel chains that want to make a buck that are exploiting the system. They are exploiting the asylum seekers, they are exploiting the government, and they're exploiting the taxpayer. And we're paying them £8 million a day. The backlog of asylum applications now exceeds 150,000 cases. Many of those applicants have been waiting for years in limbo, years unable to work, years unable to contribute, years unable to plan for their families. We've created a modern-day Purgatorio, but without the spiritual purpose. In Dante's Purgatory, souls are not yet damned nor yet redeemed. They are suspended in a process of painful purification. They climb the terraces of repentance with hope. They know where they're going. But the souls in Britain's asylum system are not climbing. They are pacing in circles, caught in a labyrinth of administration. They are punished without clarity and suffer without end. Dante tells us that the sin of the indolent, those who delayed their repentance, is to run endlessly without rest. Does that not resemble our government's posture? Endless motion, no progress, perpetual consultations, shifting targets, but no resolution, like the Red Queen. Instead of outsourcing blame to local councils, we should insource competence, pay for more caseworkers, reform the Home Office, which is groaning under a weight it cannot carry and dawdling through its obligations. Give some civil servants the tools and the staffing to do what is urgently needed. Process cases. Grant documentation to the legitimate. Deport those who fail the test. But for heaven's sake, decide and stop using these squalid hotels. A just immigration policy is neither cruel nor indulgent. It is fast, it is fair, it is final. If we redirected even half the money currently flowing into these squalid hotels, which last year topped £3 billion, we could triple the number of asylum caseworkers, clear the backlog and give people certainty. That's not merely sound policy, it's sound economics. When Wes Streeting said that he wanted to close NHS England, What he didn't tell you is that people employed in NHS England have signed a contract whereby if they are made redundant, which Wes Streeting wants to do, then they have to be given other jobs in the NHS, which is absurd. They should be given jobs in the Home Office, where they're needed. Where they're needed. We must stop the cynical politics. The Waterlooville protest included no thugs, we were told. But when Suella Braverman calls town centres no-go areas for the patriotic common-sense majority, she plays with matches in a room soaked in petrol. Her rhetoric doesn't solve the problem, it hardens it. Let us say what few dare to say. This is a policy failure, not a migrant crisis. The people stuck in these hotels are not monsters. They are families, students, survivors. They're trapped in a system that neither welcomes them nor expels them. That's the real disgrace. We should not be paying £100 a night to Britannia hotels to store human beings like baggage. We should not be rewarding landlords and chains for providing substandard accommodation and calling it compassion. And we certainly should not be hurling people from one postcode to another in the hope that no one notices there is a better way. And it requires courage, clarity, and administrative competence. Dante wrote, in his will is our peace. In politics, our peace will be in willpower, the will to do what is right, not merely what is easy. And the current Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, must show that will. That means stopping the hotels, halting the chaos, funding the system, clearing the backlog. And above all, restoring dignity to the people in limbo and to the country that once prided itself on fair play. We have to demonstrate we can still remember what that's like. Fair play, and doing things with decision, doing things efficiently, doing things with speed, instead of dawdling and paying millions of pounds every day for our Home Office's indolence and stupidity, laziness. We need a government that actually works, and it needs to start by clearing its own house, by clearing its own home, by clearing its own Home Office.